Welcome, everybody. It's 3:00. I'd like to take a moment, silence for legislator polls passed Fridays ago. We also had a 15-year-old employee, Howard Huntley, who passed with the highway department. We'll take a moment of silence for the two of those gentlemen. Thank you. We'll proceed with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes. Yep. First by legislator Walpole. Second by legislator Conley. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? On to resolutions of the day. PS1 resolution authorizing emergency management officer to accept funding for New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Climate Smart Communities Grant. Move it. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Right. Any opposed? Hearings, thank you. PS2 resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in the 1811 department. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Hearings, thank you. PS3 resolution authorizing creation of one position in Oswego County Sheriff's Correction Division for Corrections Officer. First by legislator Conley, second by legislator Walpole.
Question. Are we adding another position or what? You explain this to me more.
Legislator Conley.
So what it is we had 6 vacancies, and from the recommendation of the New York State Board of Corrections, we pretty much have to add this position in because we're at full capacity. So we're filling in a position that needs to be filled according to New York Department of Corrections.
So you're short 6 people.
We need, is it 7?
Well, 6 plus the one you just.
Well, it'd be 6, so I guess it'd be 5 if we're putting the one in. It actually shows that we're 6. 6 short, sorry.
Well, it just said creation. I mean, we had this position before. You're just filling it.
It had to do with having an officer that can escort.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's to comply with new requirements.
we
So,
pretty much have to do this. We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's what it's,
Escorting people to and from court.
sorry, I should have been a little more prepared.
It's a different qualification for a corrections officer. They have to have different qualifications to escort between court and back versus just a regular corrections officer who's in the jail at regular normal times. Who does not. Who doesn't move.
It's the same qualification for this new position where they would strictly be doing that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's- we're specialized in
Every CO could do this, but it's.
high-ranking prisoners throughout the jail. I mean, we've had it, but we need to add this position to cover
The transport.
transports and so forth. Court, you know, to New York State
But it was
Department.
also, it was also explained by Federal Bureau that that would allow other fields would be able to bid on doing that job. It's listed. It's not listed. in the-
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure that.
Yeah, that would be just like
Right.
moving up through and within, you put it out for bid, you know,
Well,
if it
For,
corrections.
like an overtime. Somebody could pay. That was my understanding.
I'm not sure about.
It could be. You can't bill it. It's gonna be overtime.
I believe we're filling it because we were filling it with overtime, if I correct.
That's why they're trying to get a position in there.
There's even road guys that sometimes have to fill in,
Mhm.
which is not usually what happens. Just to be able to get people to go. So,
Will some funding come through for this?
No, I don't believe so.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. On to HS1, resolution authorizing reclassification of one position and title change of 3 systems operations positions, Department of Social Services. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Twist. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. HS3, this was amended in committee, so we are going to, read it as was amended in committee. Resolution authorizing creation of senior support examiner position and deletion of senior accountant position, Department of Social Services. I skipped, what did I do?
they
You
just,
get the two.
Did I skip it? Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Yes. No. Yeah, I did. Okay.
He likes to go fast.
Actually, I'm not trying to go fast. I'm not trying to go fast today. I'm really. So I want to go back to HS2. Resolution authorizing reclassification of a caseworker position to case supervisor B, Department of Social Services. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. No. This, do I hit this, yeah, those notices rescinded because pages three.
I don't think we made any motions here.
They're both.
I'm still reading.
Okay. Right, I got it. HS3, as was stated earlier, it was amended in committee. It was in our packet with a different title. So I'm going to read the amended version in committee here, which is resolution authorizing creation of a senior support examiner position and deletion of senior accountant position, Department of Social Services. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Wilmot. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. HS4, resolution authorizing creation of 2 case manager positions, Department of Social Services. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley. Discussion.
Second savings.
Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. HS5, resolution authorizing modification to a provider contract, Department of Social Services. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. On to EP. EP1, resolution accepting grant funds for Oswego Build Pathways to Apprenticeship to Department of Workforce Development from the New York State Office of Strategic Workforce Development. First by legislator Wilmot, second by legislator Conley. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. We could have a walk-on EP2. I believe everybody should have it. EP2, resolution authorizing funding from unappropriated fund balance to Department of Workforce Development for 2026 Summer Youth Employment Program. There's also some funding, ARPA funding that will be used as well within this resolution.
We have to do that by separate resolution when we have the final look at that.
Okay, which we would have to do, yes, which we would have to do by separate resolution, when we get final numbers back on this. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. On to HE1, resolution authorizing budget modification for early intervention transportation. First by legislator Wilmot, second by legislator Connell. Discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. I would entertain a motion to move IT1 through IT9 as a block. So moved. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Walpole. Questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to reporting departments. Or committee review and decision, sorry. First on the agenda, we have a request to set salary, social service, for social service attorney. This has been vetted through HR with, Director Sullivan. First by, women. This is for, step grade 70, or, salary grade 70, step 12, annual rate of 105,826. First by legislator Twist, second by legislator Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. On our packet, it says there was update to a policy, PRP 13 and PRP 14. That does not pertain to this committee. We will move to update to purchasing card policy and procedures. Does anybody have questions on this? Marie?
Who has the cards and how many are out there?
Purchasing has the cards and, purchasing orders the cards. The department heads there, let's see, the chairman, county administrator, county clerk, county treasurer. Oh, workforce development and DSS. They're the only ones that have the V cards. And then purchasing has the cards for everybody else, like when they're traveling and stuff, they would call us to do the arrangements. Or if there are items, like oftentimes I just pass the purchase thing online, software or licenses and stuff. So they do a requisition. And then once they send us the information, then purchase.
I mean, you put fuel, what do you do with this?
My basic use of it is, when I have to travel for conferences, put the expenses on that card, so it's all on.
And we get a rebate, we make money on these cards.
So you put fuel on them hotels and charge mileage to the county on top of it?
No. It's literally, you can't claim mileage on something.
Okay, thank God. So basically, how much money do you think are spent on these cards a year?
Oh, very much.
But not on the cards to the
Not
department. Because we also have something called the virtual card, so some of our vendors pay those cards and that counts towards our rebate. So the department, it depends how much they travel. Probably the electeds and the county administrator travel the most, but we could give you a breakdown. It's not a lot, but it adds to our rebate.
Create a more seamless system about this anyways,
Yeah.
but before they
Yes,
filled out a
What we
piece of
used-
paper with receipts.
Yeah, what we used to do is, employees, department, when they travel, they have to outlay money themselves, keep the receipts, then it goes back to the whole claiming process. And audited and to issue another check to them and reimburse.
So
Now we can put it on-
legislators don't have this card.
No, so now we just, like, if I'm traveling and it's giving me I still have to stay within the per diem while I use the card. It cuts out all that other paperwork and it comes back to Brian's people. So everything is audited on credit cards. Same as it was before, and I still
audited
have
by
to keep
both
receipts.
just saying and audit. And we do a monthly report, and actually we're in every single day. JP Morgan to make sure we're not getting any mischarges and, yeah, we are very tight with that. We run testing.
I know they've done their due diligence on
And I
this.
know before too, we'd have like an event, all of a sudden, the department head would have to spend $1,200 of their own money
Right.
for a big event that we should be able to cover as a county, and that's why we went to this program.
That was a huge reason behind it. And it's been working very well since purchasing put it into effect. Last year, you rolled it out slow, got everybody on.
Not everybody has it because we were testing the system to
Right.
make sure that we had all the controls in place, that everything was working. So a lot of cards are not out there.
Thank you.
No problem. It's legitimate. Because when we went to this P card type situation, we all had concerns about it in the beginning. And when Holly rolled it out and said, look, we can do it this way and we will make money back on these purchases that we're not making money back on because of the way the card works. It was kind of a no-brainer type situation, but we were assured all the way around that it was gonna be laid out and tested and
Do you charge service fees if you use the card to vendors?
No. Well, yes, the big card charges service fees. The bigger vendors have a smaller service fee.
That's the vicious cycle, the
Yes.
Dodd-Frank Act, because the card people create the money back and it gets thrown on the vendor. So that's why you charge a percentage.
Yeah, and that's
Really,
why
it's probably nil, but okay.
and yeah, so vendors, when they become new vendors, they have a choice of, they can pay by this virtual credit card, which would be fees, but they get their money much faster. Or, they can do the ACH or check, whichever they select. But it really helps when we purchase things that are online and we have to use a credit card for it.
Thank you.
It says right in the policy, you can't go to the liquor store with them. So.
No, you can't, right, the policy.
very, very strict on the policy. All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on. Reporting departments. We'll start off with human resources.
So just a few small, updates. So, May's New York State Commission's meeting, they did finally approve the extension of the New York State Helps Program through June 30th of 2028. So, which is great news. And we're still, slowly adding titles to the Helps Program. And they're also amended, gave the municipal services division the ability to, vet those requests directly through their department. So now we don't have to go through the whole rules resolution and all that paperwork. It can go directly to our state contract, and then they have the ability to approve it because under the qualifications that they're aware of, so, which is great. They're definitely, making progress there. Today, one of my staff members attended the youth, summit at the Eastern Kind of Fairgrounds, and she said it was really well received, and a lot of great kids went through. They're all eighth graders from around the county. And then just currently we're accepting applications for corrections officers continuously. That has been the continuous recruitment exam now, so we're always going to be accepting applications for that position and giving exams. I think it's 4 times a year, I believe, so which is great progress as well.
Excellent.
And eventually, hopefully, we'll be getting our patrol officer in the same program they're evaluating that.
Anything else you'd like to add, Drew? Okay. Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've given out my written monthly report. I'm not going to go over everything, just 2 or 3 highlights. I want to note the audit department, which past month audited close to 4,000 documents, ensuring the accuracy of $8.8 million in expenditures. 2 of the more important things that happened over the month, we met with the New York Power Authority. They wanted to review our application for consideration as a site for nuclear power plant. They had some follow-up questions that were pretty much very easy to answer. They told us we had an excellent application. And what we got out of that meeting is what the next steps are. The NIPA is issuing 2 more documents. One is a request for quotes from nuclear developers to flesh out their those that had already applied to the RFI, to flesh out their proposals with more concrete cost plans. So people that'll be answering that are like the Constellations of the world. The second document is an RFA, a request for applications. The state has set aside $40 million to fund nuclear workforce training programs, and the application is to tap into that money for organizations and governments that want to set up training programs for trades and professionals to feed the nuclear industry. So, of course, we are tapped into that. Rachel Pierce is already working on that on our behalf. It's going to involve an application of multiple agencies in our region to muster the resources to advance training programs, to train trades on what it takes to build a nuclear power plant, plus technical positions to feed the industry, assuming we get the plant here. Second meeting we had on the potential for a nuclear plant. And these meetings were at the request of the Power Authority, but also the second one was also at the request of NYSERDA, which is in charge of creating a master plan for nuclear power for New York State. They wanted to talk to the County of Oswego and Town of Scriba with all our experience as a host community on regulatory and safety matters. So we brought emergency management in, highway department, law enforcement to meet with them, and they had a series of questions for us. It became obvious that they really need the input because this is something that the state has been out of the business of for 30 years. What has grown here organically because we're a host community, they're coming to the realization that other communities that have not been through this are going to have a heavy lift to stand up the type of agencies and the infrastructure that we have built here in the last 60 years. So the more robust emergency management department, siren system, maintenance of the roads within EPZs. These are all things that a lot of people haven't been doing and don't realize you've got to invest in and maintain. But also convey to them the need to alter and update the radiological preparedness fund, which right now we receive 12% of that money, even though we have 75% of the reactors in the state. The downstate counties that no longer have reactors are still getting 65% of that money. So this is something we have advocated over the past many years for. In my state report on the budget, we've made some headway. So if there's no other questions on my monthly report, I'll move on to the state budget.
So I got one question. So the funding that's staying in New York, I mean, are they still storing waste at those facilities? What's,
Yes, and our argument is, but yeah, they'll have dry cat storage just like we do. But that is of such a more safe and stable nature, they don't even have to follow any more FEMA regulations. They don't have to have drills. They don't have that, all the stuff that we do. They no longer have to do. There's no more evacuation zones or anything, which is what this money is supposed to fund. And any emergency planning they want to do or need to do around a dry cat storage site can be paid for out of the decommissioning funds rather than the special radiological funds that the utilities pay into. So there's another source of money for those counties if they feel they need emergency planning for that storage. That doesn't need to come out of the radiological fund. It should be coming up to Oswego County and Wayne County because we're the ones that operate nuclear reactors.
personally, I think we should be paid for by the gas.
Yeah.
They like to say that they're mobile units, so it's a mobile home, but it's taxed till it rolls out of here.
We've made that argument as well. Okay, onto the state budget. Sorry.
Under general administration, Memphis Oswego School District regarding properties.
Yeah, there's a, there was just an exploratory meeting, there's a property near Butter Street, that the school district owns, who just inquired whether or not they might be interested in selling it to us for any future space needs we may have, because there are limitations at the public safety center area, and the court system wants us to build there. So it's just an exploratory meeting. They're gonna get back to me as whether they're interested.
We saw that there was a chunk of property and we started talking and said, hey, Bill, can you poke around with that? It was on strategic.
Yeah.
Strategic initiatives meeting.
I don't even know what you're talking about, so, well,
There's a road that goes back to the water tower behind
There's a baseball field. The road that goes up to Butter Street, Check Road Drive.
right.
There's an abandoned baseball field right next to that. We don't own it, and they don't use it. So I said, this would be a good, it's all level, flat. It might be a good place if we need to build a building rather than expanding the public safety center. So just exploring that option.
Remember the court system that's been hounding us for the past how many years?
Well, we're the third largest employer. We need to get that much bigger.
Well, the problem with the safety, so the first time we went out to, we had a design done for the court system, at the public safety center. It was very pricey, and part of the pricing was because the land surrounding that is wetland, archaeologically sensitive, and then a cemetery. We have to move the generators, the building generator, and all the utilities and everything. This would be the only spot where we can build the courts that the courts want us or require us to build. So we started to take a look at other properties inside the city of Oswego because courts have to be in your county seat. I saw that property, it would be a way to utilize that property without taking anything off the tax rolls. And we might be able to build a standalone building cheaper than having to move a lot of stuff at the public safety center.
Options,
Yeah, just exploring options.
exploratory options.
We finally have a state budget, and I provided in everybody's mailbox copy of NICEX impact report. It's an early analysis of how the state budget can impact us. I encourage you to take a read through it. I've sent it out to the departments, heads, asking them to take a look at their sections and get back to me by 19th, I think, with how the state budget, how they foresee the state budget impacting the financial and operational aspects of their department. Just a couple of highlights through it. We'll go through the whole thing. State passed $268.5 billion budget. That's up 16 billion from last year. It is largely, in terms of counties, kind of flat for us. There's a few enhancements, but it turned out to be largely a do no harm budget in terms of counties. Best thing is, as we celebrate every year, they preserve the Medicaid cap, so we don't have to pay for increases in Medicaid. There is a section, of course, as you all know, they passed new laws regarding counties or local governments' cooperations with immigration. That's going to affect not just law enforcement, but other county employees as well, like DMV, social services. So we need to take a while to dig down through that and provide some guidance to employees as to what they can and can't do to avoid getting us into trouble with this new law. Some positives, the county partnership program, which funds infrastructure projects tied to housing. The maximum award has been increased from $1 million to $1.5 million. There are increases in state aid for Office for the Aging, health departments are up to 6, 911, foster care, and a new grant program for water infrastructure, which may be helpful to us in some ways. There's also a new $50 million fund that counties can apply for to assist or emergency services and public safety programs. And as I mentioned earlier, regarding nuclear preparedness, there is a new $3 million fund designed in part to compensate counties that are nuclear hosts from losses in that radiological fund. Because what happened when Indian Point closed, the way that radiological fund is funded is the owner and operator of every nuclear reactor in the state has to put in $1 million every year per reactor. And then that is cut in half. State keeps half of it. The other half is divided up amongst the counties where there is they have an emergency planning subcommittee. When Indian Point closed, that whole fund dropped by $1 million every year because they no longer have to pay into it. And what that did is reduced, the share stayed the same, but it reduced the amount that every county was getting. This fund, we working through our lobbyist in Albany. We had proposed some language for the state budget that would reallocate that based on level of risk. The more reactors you have, the bigger piece of the pie you should have. That didn't get in, but it raised enough of an issue that they put $3 million in the state budget, and we'll be able to access for the balance of what we had lost when the fund was diminished. So progress, they probably don't want to come up with a whole new scheme until they've decided where these new plants are. So that's a positive that for the time being, our emergency management office won't be shorted that money for radiological preparedness. We get about $375,000 a year.
That seems so light.
It is light because we've demonstrated to them that our costs every year are at least twice that.
Yes, one poker face.
So light.
I
Do
totally
they still
agree.
give
We
Indian,
all agree.
do they still give more Indian Point money down there even though it's closed?
Yes, that's the whole.
That's the whole
Yeah.
secret.
They're getting those because Indian Point sits on the 4 corners of 4 counties. 4 counties down there are sharing 65%.
Well, I know you were checking in to see
Decommission.
to eliminate. I mean, I didn't know where we stood on this.
Yeah.
You know, we said-
So anyway, I encourage you to read through this. We'll get into it often throughout the year, but particularly if there's certain areas you're interested in learning more about,
did get a nice presentation on that yesterday. Nice act. Did a very nice presentation online yesterday. What's that?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do questions.
Any other questions for Phil before moving on? Okay, Richard Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just say you have funding the tax, sales tax and the urban house sales tax. We've only had one negative payment this year. So good for us. That just tells you that the monthly cost has gone up and sales tax is enjoying that. So, but it's a good thing. It's 1.4 million up for a calendar year. And then in the reserves, actually, our net balance is still 18.4 million. So that's not, that's good to work with if you need it. My updates really for the AFR, the financial report was submitted as I reported last month, and it actually was approved by the comptroller's office. So we're all set, we're closed, and move down to the next hurdle, which is the audit. Our internal, our outside auditors come in within a couple of weeks. So we're preparing for that. And we should be 3 or 4 months of just making sure that whatever we say we're doing, we're doing. And it gets with other departments that incorporate a lot of stuff. If there is anything that you may want them to look at, please feel free to let me know. Because they can not necessarily do a deep dive, but just kind of review what's going on in certain areas. The auction, foreclosure auction, phone hopefully it died down for all of you, and it has for us. That's still set for the 16th. And I will have the buyback resolution. It'll have to be amended on the floor, but it'll be all the people and everything that needs to have the buyback. So.
Has it been a decent buyback?
Oh, yeah. Well, looking at.
Why is it people don't realize till the signs? I've tried to explain it to people 9 ways to.
You know, we're trying to figure that out. There's some things that, we have some thought process. Should we put a sign up at some point prior to the auction company? So talking with Rich in regards to that, should we try to?
It's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, and then also, I brought this, I just had it in my folder. A simple thing of putting tax foreclosure notice. Because you wouldn't believe that people will call, you know what, I just do this on the bottom of my hand. They didn't, they just probably. I will be open to say that after talking with several treasurers in other counties, they hit them with a percentage. And most counties that do that, the people come running in to pay back. So some go 10%, some go less, but not much.
It's an incentive though, Kevin.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep. So, but we figured that out. Obviously, working with the legislature, I'm not going to be, something that, if a person's already on hard times, you hit them with a 10%. And if they owe $3,000, it's $300. If you're on hard times, it's probably a lot of money. So it's something that I think we have to get together and understand and maybe do a fee schedule for buybacks. Just so that people understand this, there's gotta be parameters. Right now, we're kind of a little bit loose.
How many man hours do you think you have to put into a buyback?
Well, it starts 2 years prior. So
You get a lot of time.
it is. And then that will come up with the land bank situation that we're gonna be probably talking in the next 2 months too. Everybody wants everything for nothing, but there's gotta be some compensation for time
Yeah.
for our office. So that will be, coming to the floor. Apologize. I prefer to do that because the bankruptcy is even rolling in late. People apply for that. We have to get on that resolution. And then other than that, I'm the reason for the executive session. So, if there's any questions.
Address that. Does anybody have any further questions for Kevin?
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I have not charged $500,000 a dollar.
You better
I
not.
have not charged $1 on this yet, so I will try it out.
That's a black card. You must have a big one.
On to purchasing, Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I passed out 2 reports. One is just the status report of our bids and RFPs, what's open, what's under evaluation, what's waiting for committee approval. Although I think a few of them have been approved by the time we got here. And also what contracts are being, in the process of being signed. Then I also have purchasing statistics, just because it's nice to see how we're doing this year with bids, RFPs, requisitions, purchase orders against last year, especially since we've been really pushing the departments to use our purchasing system, and it seems to be working. Also, we're working with audit and purchasing. We're working with IT because we're going to start using a contract system in Unis, which is different than a contract management system. So that when they have a contract, when a department has a contract, if it's a multi-year contract, it makes more sense for them to use the contract system because they won't have to encumber all that money in 1 year. As opposed to purchase order, if they do a purchase order, they would say, for instance, if they had a 3-year contract for $3 million, like DSS does sometimes, they would have to encumber $3 million. They use the contract system, they would just encumber $1 million per year for 3 years. So purchasing and IT are doing training now. And then a department will decide what makes more sense, when it makes more sense to use a purchase order or when it makes more sense to put all the documents on the contract system. So we always have a trail of what we're doing. So that's what we're working on right now. And Phil and I are working on purchasing policy changes that should come to the legislature in July. We thought we were done, but the federal government said we weren't.
Okay, thank you, Ally. I would entertain a motion to go in executive session containing
Discuss
salary
possible,
wages. Go ahead,
discuss possible employment of certain individual.
there we go. I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carries, moving on. Okay.
I'm downstairs. I just.
Yeah.
I'll give it back to you.